Brooklyn Rideshare Accident Lawyer. Modern ride-sharing apps like Lyft and Uber offer simplified and cost-effective transportation with the download of an app. Now, we have the option of arranging and paying for a ride with the simple click of a button. With rideshare apps, we can summon a ride, know exactly how much we are paying, pay for it, and sit back and wait. What can be more convenient? But what isn't so convenient is when that ride across town results in an accident. Then it can become an overwhelming jumble of medical bills and confusing insurance claims. If you have been injured in a Lyft or Uber accident in New York, either as a passenger or as another driver, you may be entitled to compensation for your injuries. Common injuries in Brooklyn public transportation accidents. As ride-sharing apps gain popularity, the frequency of incidents involving Lyft and Uber vehicles has climbed. Common injuries caused by rideshare accidents include head injuries, neck injuries, back injuries, shattered bones, and soft tissue injuries. Head injuries in rideshare accidents can range from minor concussions to severe brain damage. Neck injuries are also one of the most common types of injuries in rideshare car accidents. Back injuries can range from minor sprains and strains to more serious spinal cord injuries. Broken bones are frequently sustained in car accidents, especially in the arms and legs. Soft tissue injuries include wounds such as cuts, scrapes, bruises, sprains, and strains. Rideshare accident attorney Samantha Kucher explains who is liable in Lyft rideshare accidents. When it comes to rideshare accidents, there are several different scenarios. You were a passenger in a ridesharing vehicle, and you were injured in an accident where the ridesharing vehicle operator was at fault. You were a passenger in a Lyft vehicle, and you were injured in an accident where another driver was at fault. You were another driver, passenger, or pedestrian injured in an accident with a Lyft vehicle operator who was off duty. You were another driver, passenger, or pedestrian injured in an accident with a Lyft driver who was active on the app awaiting a ride request. You were another driver, passenger, or pedestrian injured in an accident with a Lyft driver who was active on the app and in the process of fulfilling a ride. How accident claims work in New York City. Lyft accidents. With the convenience of rideshare apps such as Lyft and Uber comes newer kinds of injury claim issues when an accident happens. In New York, while we require rideshare companies to carry insurance policies to cover accident victims in just these cases, what is available to an accident victim can vary depending on the operating status of the driver. This can make recovering compensation after a Lyft or Uber accident difficult. Whether an injured party looks to their own private insurance policy, the Lyft driver's personal policy, another at-fault driver's policy, or Lyft's supplemental insurance will depend on many variables. This is when it is crucial to have the legal assistance of skilled New York City Lyft accident lawyers. At Kucher Law, we will thoroughly investigate the accident in New York City and gain access to information that tells us at what point of operation the Lyft or Uber driver was at the time of the accident and what liability and financial recovery are available. Driver operator status and what insurance will apply. Lyft has 3 different statuses that a driver can be at the time of an accident, each determining what coverage they have and what avenues for compensation are available to an injured party. A driver who is logged off the app or inactive. A driver who is logged onto the app and awaiting requests. A driver who is logged onto the app and fulfilling a request. When the rideshare driver is not logged into the app at all, the driver is considered off-duty, and the accident will be considered like any other car accident in New York. Under our no-fault insurance laws, the available insurance coverage will be the private insurance of the victim or the rideshare driver, or another at-fault driver if the injuries meet New York's serious injury threshold. Lyft's insurance will not be available in this case. When a driver is logged into the app and awaiting ride requests, Lyft's supplemental insurance coverage will apply. In New York, for this driver status, Lyft must provide third-party liability insurance for covered accidents in the following amounts: $75,000 per person for bodily injuries or death, $150,000 per accident for bodily injuries or death to 2 or more people, $25,000 per accident for property damages. When the driver is fulfilling a ride request, the insurance must provide at least $1,250,000 in coverage for each accident for personal injury and property damages. A Lyft driver who has suffered injuries in an accident caused by another driver. A Lyft passenger who has suffered injuries while inside the vehicle during an accident. Other drivers, passengers, or bystanders who have suffered injuries in an accident caused by a Lyft driver. Consequently, it is important to know the driver's status to understand what insurance coverage is available. Why it is critical to have a lawyer after a Brooklyn Lyft accident. Having an experienced NYC Lyft accident lawyer representing you after an accident can be critical to getting fair and adequate compensation after an accident. A skilled lawyer will help determine the Lyft driver's status at the time of the accident, identify who was at fault, and negotiate the best possible settlement on your behalf. If a fair settlement is not possible through negotiation, your attorney can take the matter to court in New York to ensure that you are fairly compensated for your injuries. After an accident, our experienced Lyft accident attorneys will investigate the accident to determine what caused it and who was at fault. Consult with medical experts to determine the value of your claim. Determine the status of the Lyft driver at the time of the accident to understand what avenues of compensation we have from the rideshare company. Identify any other sources of insurance coverage. Negotiate with the insurance companies. Seek the maximum compensation possible from any liable parties. Defend your interests if another party is trying to place the blame on you. Hold the insurance companies accountable for your damages if they try to downplay or deny your claim. Litigate the matter in court, if necessary. Statute of limitations for NYC Lyft injury claims. The statute of limitations refers to the time limit that you must follow to obtain compensation for an auto accident. The limitations period begins immediately after the date of your auto accident. According to New York law, personal injury lawsuits have a statute of limitations of 3 years. What type of damages can you recover after a Lyft accident? Suffering injuries from any car accident can be physically, emotionally, and financially overwhelming. At Kucher Law, we recognize that being involved in an accident involving a rideshare driver can be an even more confusing and intimidating experience. Our skilled New York City car crash attorneys are committed to identifying the damages incurred and seeking compensation from any liable party. These damages can include any medical expenses, emergency room expenses, surgeries, doctor visits, prescription medication, medical equipment, physical therapy, or any other costs surrounding your medical care. Future medical expenses as they may be needed for your injuries. Lost wages due to your injuries. Lost earning capacity if you cannot return to your former line of employment. Property damages. Emotional distress. Pain and suffering. Wrongful death. How much does a Brooklyn Lyft accident lawyer cost? A significant number of Brooklyn Lyft accident lawyers operate on a contingency fee basis. This means you won't have to pay any upfront fees for their services. Instead, the lawyer will take a percentage of the settlement or court award you receive. This percentage varies depending on the case's complexity and the lawyer's experience. There are other potential costs associated with your case, such as court filing fees, costs for obtaining medical records, fees for expert witnesses. When selecting a lawyer, transparency about fees and a clear explanation of the fee structure are essential. Seeking the skilled legal advice of an experienced Brooklyn rideshare accident attorney. If you or a loved one has been injured in a Lyft accident, it is important to exercise your rights against any insurance company that may treat you unfairly. Kucher Law Group's team of experienced Lyft accident attorneys understand the importance of seeking the maximum compensation possible for the benefit of accident victims. Contact us today for a free consultation with an experienced personal injury lawyer in Brooklyn. We work on a contingency fee basis, so you do not have to pay anything unless we win your case. Call 929-563-6780 today.